Welcome to Echoes of the Unknown, the podcast where we'll be exploring some of the world's most fascinating unsolved mysteries. I'm Jack Montgomery, and today we'll be digging into the tragic disappearance in 2001 of 15-year-old Erin Pospisil, one of Iowa's most haunting unsolved cases. When she vanished one summer night, she left behind a devastated family and a community searching for answers that remain elusive to this day. It's a truly perplexing mystery that has endured for more than 2 decades. Time is a relentless thing. It ticks on, unbothered by the questions it leaves behind. For Erin's family, every tick is a reminder of a moment frozen in time. June 3rd, 2001, to be exact. That's the day their teenage daughter vanished without a trace in Cedar Rapids. Erin's life before her disappearance painted a picture of a typical teenager. Like most girls her age, she loved hanging out with her friends, joking around with her siblings, and trying out new hairstyles. Described by those who knew her as kind-hearted, bubbly, and trusting, she was just starting to blossom into her teenage years. Beneath her lively demeanor was a girl navigating typical teen challenges. Erin had recently been struggling in school, and according to her family, she was trying to find her footing. But by June of 2001, she was turning things around and signs of positive change were evident. Erin had started attending church more regularly. She was also actively working to strengthen her home relationships within her close-knit, blended family, which included her father Jim, her stepmother Carolyn, and her 3 siblings. The events leading up to Erin's disappearance began on what seemed like an ordinary Sunday evening. She requested permission from her parents to go to the home of her friend Britt McCoon to watch movies and then stay overnight, and they said yes. When her planned ride to Britt's house fell through, she turned to Curtis Paget, a 22-year-old acquaintance who was a friend of her older brother Nicholas. Paget picked her up at around 8:45 p.m. What happened after that has been a point of speculation for more than 20 years. According to Paget, they drove to Britt's house, but when they arrived, they discovered no one was home. He claims that as they were leaving, a black 4-door 1990s model Chevrolet Cavalier pulled up. Erin supposedly said, "These guys will give me a ride," and she got in the vehicle voluntarily. This version of events immediately raised suspicions among investigators and family members, particularly when Britt later told investigators she had actually been home that evening after all. In addition, no neighbors reported seeing the mysterious black car that Paget described. Since Erin had planned to stay overnight at her friend's house, her stepmother wasn't immediately concerned when she didn't return home that night. It wasn't until the following day, when Erin failed to return home, that her family became alarmed and reported her missing to the police. The initial investigation faced several challenges. Since Erin had a brief history of running away in the past, authorities initially approached the case with less urgency than an abduction scenario might have warranted. This impacted the crucial early hours of the investigation, when time-sensitive evidence collection and witness interviews are most critical. But as days turned into weeks, it became clear that Erin was almost certainly not a runaway. Once the Cedar Rapids Police Department realized it was a likely abduction, they began their investigation quickly. However, with very little to go on at that point, leads dried up fast. Law enforcement authorities questioned Curtis Paget about Erin's disappearance, but he maintained his innocence and stood by his version of the story. While he was not charged, he remained a person of interest. In 2002, investigators pursued what was thought to be a promising lead when a witness reported seeing a girl matching Erin's description at a convenience store in Cedar Rapids. The witness said the girl, who appeared to be frightened and disoriented, was in the back seat of a dark car with Illinois license plates. Despite the detailed nature of the sighting, investigators were unable to verify the information or develop it into concrete evidence. Years later, in a chilling twist, there was a significant development when Paget was arrested in connection with the murder of Dennis First. The 64-year-old Cedar Rapids man was beaten and stabbed following an argument with Paget sometime between May 10th and May 11th, 2007. That cold case had remained unsolved for nearly 17 years until Paget's arrest on March 1st, 2023. He opted for a bench trial, and in May 2024, a judge found him guilty based on compelling forensic evidence, including his fingerprint on a knife sharpener found with the murder weapon and his boot print in a blood droplet at the crime scene. On July 9, 2024, Paget was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Paget's arrest and subsequent murder conviction prompted investigators to re-examine possible connections between the two cases. While Paget has never been charged in connection with Erin's disappearance, his conviction has certainly cast new shadows over his account of what happened that June evening. Over the years, investigators have explored multiple theories regarding Erin's disappearance. The first, understandably, centers on Paget's potential involvement. Considering both his questionable account of events and his later murder conviction, many, including Erin's family, believe he knows more than he's said. Could he have harmed Erin and invented the black car story to deflect suspicion? A second theory involves speculation that Erin may have been abducted by human traffickers, possibly coerced into the car that night. Iowa, like many Midwestern states, has known trafficking corridors that run through rural areas. The convenience store sighting in 2002 seemed to support this possibility, though it was never verified. Others believe that Erin may have gotten into the car willingly, perhaps with someone she trusted. But things went wrong. This theory aligns with descriptions of her personality: trusting, eager to mend social bridges, and potentially vulnerable to manipulation. One of the most emotionally difficult thoughts for the family is that someone Erin knew was involved. If somebody she trusted played a role in her disappearance, it would explain her apparent willingness to get into a vehicle that night. Whether it was Paget or someone else in her social circle. For Erin's family, the pain of not knowing what happened has never dulled. Her stepmother Carolyn has become a tireless advocate, maintaining the website erinpospisilismissing.org and organizing regular awareness events. The family holds annual vigils and balloon releases, refusing to let Erin's memory fade from public consciousness. They don't just mourn her absence, they continue to fight to bring her home. These events serve not only as remembrances, but also as renewed calls for information that might someday lead to answers. In 2021, the Cedar Rapids Police Department made a significant commitment to Erin's case by adding it to their cold case unit. Investigators maintain their belief that someone in the community holds crucial information about Erin's disappearance and are urging them to come forward. They continue to emphasize that even seemingly minor details could prove vital to finally solving the case and bringing closure to her family. The investigation has highlighted several critical aspects of missing persons cases, particularly those involving teenagers. The initial classification of cases can significantly impact their trajectory, and the balance between considering all possibilities while not dismissing serious scenarios is crucial. The case also demonstrates how developments in seemingly unrelated cases, such as Paget's murder charge, can shed new light on cold cases. In June 2025, Erin's stepmother told local Cedar Rapids news channel TV9 that her daughter's DNA was not collected because authorities considered her a runaway, and her family didn't think to save her hairbrush or toothbrush. But Carolyn believes there's still a chance DNA could help solve the case, since authorities did collect DNA samples from Erin's dad and mom. If she's ever found, they're being stored in the missing persons DNA database in Fort Worth, Texas. Carolyn said that even when she sees breaks in other cold cases, like a 1983 murder solved in May 2025 when Lynn County investigators used DNA to make an arrest, it can be hard to stay optimistic. As she put it, there's always one more thing. I feel like this technology will be what finds her. This story will be what finds her. Or this person getting arrested will be what finds her. And when those don't happen, it's hard to see. Still, hearing stories about cases solved after many years gives her a glimmer of hope. The disappearance of Erin Pospisil remains more than just an unsolved mystery. It represents a family's unwavering determination to find answers, a community's lingering questions, and the persistent hope that truth will eventually emerge. As time continues to march forward, the quest for answers remains as urgent as ever, with investigators and family members refusing to let this case fade into history. Law enforcement continues to seek public assistance in solving this case. Anyone with information about Erin's disappearance is urged to contact the Cedar Rapids Police Department at 319-286-5491. Every piece of information, no matter how insignificant it might seem, could be the key to unlocking this decades-old mystery and bringing peace to a family that has waited far too long for answers. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Echoes of the Unknown. If you found this story compelling, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with fellow mystery lovers. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, some mysteries only remain unsolved until the right person speaks up.